Resident Evil Requiem is a state-of-the-art theme park ride with excellent-looking monsties to run from and excellent-looking environments to trounce through. But beneath the glitz of it all, is there much in the way of actual substance? Today, I'll answer the question.
Where's the fun? What's the gameplay loop? What does a 30-minute session look like?
Let's find out, baby.
Resident Evil Requiem is both a survival horror game and an action horror game, featuring two separate protagonists that you switch between at specific points in the campaign. The game was developed by Capcom and directed by Koshi Nakanishi, who previously directed Resident Evil 7. According to HowLongToBeat.com, Requiem's main story can be completed in around 10.5 hours, its main story and side content can be completed in around 13.5 hours, and a completionist run will take around 29.5 hours to complete. That makes its length on par with most entries in the franchise. The game features 3 initial difficulty options, those being casual, normal, modern, with full autosaving, and normal classic with limited autosaves, and the return of the old ink ribbon save system during specific sections of the game. There is a 4th difficulty option that unlocks after completing the game on any difficulty called Insanity, and it functions as a hardcore remix of the campaign with much harder enemy encounters, alternate item placements, and the ink ribbon save system. I'll talk more about this mode later. I would consider myself a casual fan of the franchise. At this point, besides Requiem, I've finished Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Resident Evil 7, and I've played but not finished Resident Evil 2 and its remake, the original 4, 5, and Village. It took me just over 16 hours to complete my first playthrough of Requiem on the normal, modern difficulty, and I played at a very leisurely pace, attempting to clear all of the content and collect all of the optional things as I could. Before release, I was a bit concerned by reading reviews and hearing that the game was only about 10 hours long. The main reason for this worry is that the game splits its time between 2 protagonists with 2 completely different gameplay styles, those being Grace with survival horror and Leon with action horror. I had to wonder, will the game just feel like 2 different 5-hour games stitched together? After completing the game, I have to say that my worries were justified. The issue isn't the length though, as you can see with my 16-hour completion time, but rather it's the substance of it all. Both Grace and Leon get just one big level each, with a few short sections sprinkled on top. Grace dominates the first half, and Leon dominates the second. The structure of Grace's first half largely mirrors the structure of the original Resident Evil. After a few short intro sequences, you're released into a large environment similar to the Spencer Mansion in RE1 or the police station in RE2. You then explore an underground cave system and find a secret lab, just like RE1. Grace's half is topped off with a boss fight of sorts, and then you pass the baton to Leon. All in all, Grace's section does feel like a pretty satisfying whole. After all, it literally follows the structure laid out in Resident Evil 1. The second half of the game with Leon at the helm, though, truly feels like an incomplete experience. Leon gets one big section set in an urban environment with all the browns and dilapidated buildings of a 6th-gen game. This section is a lot of fun, with multiple objectives to pursue, combat encounters to fight through, and weapons to unlock and upgrade. All in all, the section should take people an hour or 2 to complete, and after that, you get a short on-rails, heavily scripted motorcycle battle, followed by an indoor section that primarily serves as a homage to RE2, with basically nothing to fight. There is once again a heavily scripted chase sequence at the end of that section that then leads into Leon's first proper boss fight. The next section has you walking in a straight line, shooting a handful of plant enemies as they pop up, shooting gallery style, culminating in a boss fight that's over in minutes, and then you arrive at the final section of the game, which sees Grace returning to the helm briefly to sneak around some enemies and collect a couple orbs, and then Leon returns to finish off the game with a 2-phase boss fight. So, all in all, Leon gets a few disparate short sections during Grace's half, one big level, 2 short sections with basically nothing in the way of meaningful combat encounters, and 3 proper boss fights. So even though Grace and Leon basically get equal screen time, there are substantial chunks of Leon's second half that lack much in the way of engaging gameplay, leading to a feeling that his section of the game is a bit undercooked. This is a shame too, because when Leon does get to actually do stuff, it's a lot of fun. So that's the gameplay experience in broad strokes, but let's take a look at the specifics of what playing the game actually consists of by defining the core verbs of the game. 1. Run and hide. 2. Shoot and smack. 3. Explore and collect. Running and hiding is primarily a Grace thing, as her sections largely discourage open combat. In the mansion section, you do feel a gradual power increase as you make progress, with you eventually having the means to take out most enemies, creating a rewarding gameplay experience. Shooting and smacking applies to both Grace and Leon, though perhaps slashing would be more appropriate for Leon thanks to his handy hatchet. With Grace, shooting is mostly used to stun an enemy and shove them to the ground, allowing you to slip by without expending precious ammo. For Leon, killing everything is the point, and the game drives this home by rewarding Leon with money for each kill that can be used to purchase and upgrade gear, among other things. Finally, it wouldn't be a Resident Evil game without exploring and collecting. Usually puzzles would also be a thing, but they have been streamlined to the point of non-existence. Instead, your objective is usually to collect a thing and then place that thing into another thing. Despite the simplification, exploring is satisfying, and the two larger levels of the game have a decent handful of optional upgrades and loot to collect. Much of the loot that you'll pick up feeds into the crafting system. Both Grace and Leon can use various materials that they pick up to craft extra ammo and special items. Grace in particular benefits most from crafting, as the game is more stingy with giving out free ammo and the such during her sections. Grace is able to harvest infected blood from downed enemies and specific harvest spots. Harvesting this blood is key to increasing Grace's power as you play. Leon, on the other hand, relies much less on crafting. Instead, Leon relies on his blood money to get more powerful. Naturally, with how incohesive the structure of the whole campaign is, I can't really pin down one gameplay loop that is on offer. Rather, the loop presents itself in the game's replayability. The primary motivation for running through the campaign is to complete challenges, which reward completion points, or CP for short. With CP, you can buy extra weapons for Grace or Leon, and game modifiers like infinite ammo and infinite ink ribbons, among other things. These bonuses primarily exist to get you up to snuff before attempting the Insanity mode. Right now, I'm working on completing 3 different challenges in one casual mode playthrough, those being to complete a run in under 4 hours, to complete a run without using any healing items, and to complete a run without using Grace's crafting mechanic. I've never been a speedrun person, so the experience of sprinting through the game has been wild. I do think, however, that there aren't all that many substantive playthrough-defining challenges like the ones I'm currently attempting. So I'm thinking that, at most, I'll get 3 or 4 playthroughs out of the game. I mean, hey, that's not so bad, and I'm sure Insanity will take some effort and time to get through, even with added bonuses like infinite ammo to help me. Due to the structure of the game won't be very satisfying to pop into for just 30 minutes or so at a time. Rather, this game is best served with long binge sessions, so save it for when you have more time to sink into it. Once you finish your first playthrough, quicker play sessions will feel more appropriate. For now, the game lacks a Mercenaries mode for quick arcade fun, but I'm sure such a thing will be added in the future. All in all, Resident Evil Requiem provides a thrilling and at times impressive initial playthrough, but I feel that opinions on it will sour with time once the honeymoon period is over. Hopefully free and or paid DLC can flesh out the experience a bit more. So, in conclusion, where's the fun? It's in the sheer spectacle and thrill of it all, but repeat visits may lose their luster.